Hello everyone and welcome to the Maximum Guitar YouTube channel. My guest today is a metal guitar musician who's been making videos on his YouTube channel for, I believe, almost 10 years now. Somewhere close to that.
Maybe like 7 or 8. Let's go for 10.
Okay, because I know that you've had, your YouTube channel has existed since, 2009, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how long you've been making videos.
There's been videos going on to that channel. Whether or not they were game-related or acceptable or stayed up there, that's different.
But, but you can go ahead and check out his latest album, The Temples, which is a Legend of Zelda cover album that I believe is mostly progressive metal. You can check that out on his Bandcamp. It's my boy Ro Panuganti. How's it going, Ro? How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having me, Max.
Yeah. All right. Why don't you tell everybody who may not be familiar with your work what it is you do here on YouTube and on the internet in general?
Sure. So my name is Ro Panuganti. I mostly make music arrangements of video game and sometimes movie or television themes in progressive rock and metal styles, which usually just means a huge umbrella of, jazz influence, blues influence, and all sorts of types of music just shoved into the metal style, I guess.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've been making videos almost every week or every few weeks for about 7 years in the video game kind of frame. I've been running groups like GameLark. I've been helping run Pixel Mixers kind of communities. I've been participating in Materia Collective. I co-founded their charity, which is now part of Materia, so we do charity video game albums. And besides that, I make my own albums.
Very, very cool. So something we generally do here. Oh, there's a truck outside. See, this is the problem. It's really, really bright and beautiful here. I'm in Washington State right now. It's snowing. It's a lovely, lovely day. Yeah. But there's people out on the road struggling, slipping around the ice. Anyway, it is generally customary on this show where we have the guest choose whatever the screensaver is in the background, so it can be absolutely anything you want. What would you like to put in the background for this entire interview?
Good question. Thematically, it may not make sense, but I'm a huge Earthbound fan, so we could rock some On It in the background, just the city or something.
Yeah, we can put that as like a screensaver. I can find that. I'm actually not familiar with Earthbound or the Mother series, but I have seriously been considering looking into that because I've heard it's phenomenal.
They're fantastic. Aged pretty well for an RPG from like 1994, I think, 22.
So we're going to go ahead and start with the questions here. So the first question is always asked by whoever was previously on the show. So the last guy I had on the show was Josiah Everhart, or Booz and Walsh. You may be familiar with his work.
Awesome.
And he's got a question for you. His question for you is, will you ever consider playing sitar for him?
So he knew I was coming on.
Yeah, he did. I
would collaborate with that guy on absolutely anything. And I hate playing the sitar because it's a very complex instrument to keep in tune and everything, but I absolutely love what Josiah writes and does. So
yeah, he is fantastic.
That's a big hell yeah.
All right, well, there you go, Josiah. If you're watching this interview, there's a collab that's going to happen maybe at some point. Looking forward to that. And then, although he was not on the show previously, he donated a question to us that he really wants you to answer. Insane the Ray Music.
Okay. He
has a question for you, and I don't know if it's some kind of inside joke or if he's genuinely curious, but he asks you, how dark do you like your toast?
Jesus.
What? Is that a reference to something, or is that...
No, it's not at all. He just know I enjoy cooking. I don't know if you know that, but
yeah, I do.
He might have asked because of that. He might have asked because he's him. I actually don't like toast normally, but if I toast my bread, I genuinely try to keep it just a little crunchy, probably my palm color.
Okay.
Which is probably the kind of answer he was expecting. So
very.
Yeah, I don't like it burned because I don't really like regular toast.
All right, well, there you have it. Okay, so right now you just go by your real name, but a long time ago you used to go by Swiggles, I believe 1987, and then
yeah.
then for a while you went as Swiggles RP, and now you're just Ro Panuganti. So can you tell me a little bit about the origin of Swiggles? What does that mean? Where did it come from?
Oh man, this is like when the FBI catches someone and they went by like 40 names.
Yeah.
Basically, in I want to say 2004 or 5, when the Nintendo DS came out, my friends and I was living abroad actually in Japan, and all we would do is play PictoChat, the little chat messaging game, because back then that was huge for us to have a chatting system. There was no cell phones or whatever, and my friends and I were just sitting. I remember we were in his mom's car, like just waiting, and we were coming up with the dumbest names to just like sign in. So it would be like blah 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 has joined chat. And then how about Swiggles has joined chat? Just like a silly name that combined a bunch of sounds. And then for some reason I just like didn't forget to change it and it stuck.
Okay.
And then kind of growing up, especially towards the YouTube time, I grew up kind of like unsure how cool like I should be spending time on music and stuff, because I was pretty much like AP student doing a bunch of classes and stuff, and I felt like a little pressure from my parents not to get into like putting my real name on the internet.
Oh yeah.
I just didn't know, and back then I was kind of worried about sillier stuff like that. So I ended up using Swiggles, and my dad said, you know, like, what do you want your Xbox Live name to be? Typing in, which is like, well, probably not my real name. So it just stayed that way, and eventually I was like, maybe I should take myself as seriously as I want people to take me. So I was like, Swiggles doesn't sound metal. It sounds like a guy who makes like, I don't know, cinnamon buns on YouTube.
There you go.
And Ro Panuganti is the name I am most comfortable with, because that's pretty much my name. I mean, my full name is Rohit, but
Okay.
So Ro is easier for Americans to pronounce. So, you know.
Yeah.
Last year I was like, hey, this album of mine did kind of well, and it says Swiggles, and that kills me every night.
Nice.
Like, F it, I'm changing to Ro. I spent a good 5 days of work going backlogged for 4.5 years. Changed it everywhere I could. It's a part of me.
Yeah, sometimes that'll happen to you where it's like, there's something that you did a while ago, like that happens to me all the time, where I'll think about like that one video I made 4 years ago where I messed up that one note and didn't change it. I'm like, I hate it. And like
it's phantom note syndrome, or phantom bad take syndrome, I call it, where you like recorded something the wrong way, and even if you fixed it, it's in your brain forever.
I absolutely know that. Have you had any other goofy names besides Swiggles over the years, or has it just pretty much been Swiggles and then now your real name?
I've had some throwaways from that one PictoChat session, but I think, I remember, I had a Mr. Gimbals, that was like a secondary account.
Nice.
That's the thing, it was like Swiggles, Mr. Gimbals, and then, honestly, like, I just felt so attached to Swiggles that I don't think I changed it, unless you go back to like middle school, or on forums. I think I was like, oh man, on RuneScape I was Ducas Caster. That was my really crappy fiction character from a story I wrote in 5th grade. So beyond that, I don't even know. Internet wasn't around back then. Who knows?
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all had some goofy names and are settling into new ones, perhaps.
I like MaximumGuitar. I think that's perfect. It has your name, but it's also different. And to my knowledge, no one's done it.
Yeah.
Unless you count Maximum Hamburgers.
Yeah, that's very close. But thank you very much. Actually, I didn't used to be that. For a while, back in the beginning of time when I had just like entered online gaming, I was Ozymandias for a while, which is a name that me and my dad both used because we were a fan of the Pharaoh and also the Watchman character.
Yes.
But eventually, I went into Maximum because like, well, my name's Max, so I figure I'll just make it cooler. Like, some people were like, oh, it should be Maximilian or Maximus, but I don't know. I settled on Maximum. And then when I got onto YouTube, I was the Maximum Guitarist for the longest time. But just about, I think, a year and a half ago, it was Family Jules suggested to me. He was like, I feel like your name's a bit too long, and it would come up a lot easier in the search engine if you shorten it. So I'm like, okay, I'll make it Maximum Guitar. It sounds like a magazine. That was sort of my idea. It sounds like it could be a magazine title. And he was totally right. It helped me a lot in the search engine, so I've stuck with that for a while now.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Search engine optimization and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I really wanted to talk to you about, probably, like, this is one of the main things I love about your covers, is that your arrangements are always so unbelievably and incredibly unique. Like, every single time you cover a song that I know, I click on it, and I almost always get something I don't expect, and I am always pleased that it's something I don't expect. You do so many amazing creative things with your covers. So my question to you is why? Why do you choose to do something that when the average fan of the song you're covering may click on it and be like, I just want to hear that song, but it's metal? Why do you choose to do it so vastly differently and be so creative with it?
Well, first off, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One of the biggest things I want to get from listeners is the same feelings I get when I'm listening to my favorite music, a lot of which is progressive rock and metal. And a lot of those styles are all about going just a little bit where you don't expect. And when I started making these videos, it was only 4 or 5 people, and I just didn't process that. You know, a lot of them were doing these one-to-one, as we call it, covers, where you take the original song and you just purely arrange it just like it performed. But then I realized if everyone keeps doing it this way, we're not getting the chance to showcase what makes our arrangement skills different, what makes our musicianship different. So, you know, of course, like you mentioned, Carlos is another musician who's influenced by his favorite music, tries to pull those elements in. So likewise, around like the second or third year of YouTubing, I started using Pink Floyd and Tesseract and Periphery and movie soundtracks and like just so many different influences that I liked. It's almost like we're cheating by ripping them off, but you know, when you have so many in there, no one's gonna figure it out. But I just feel like that's so much more remarkable when it comes to arrangement. When you say, hey, someone played that Forest Temple cover, you know, they should go and be like, oh, which one? Because they're all so different. Not, okay, anyone should do. They all sound the same anyway. So that's just my mentality, and it's grown a lot more cocky and confident because once I did it the first time, I was like, wow, this is actually more enjoyable. And I've been playing a lot of music on Twitch, so when I play the cover, I should be able to remember my own way, my own arrangement, my own ideas. It just makes it a wholly personal, unique kind of situation. But that's also what I like about my favorite jammers, the ones who go that extra step and you're like, oh boy, it's going to be this. And it's like, no, here's an original riff. And here's this, you know, a guest player playing an accordion instead.
Yeah, sure.
It's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah, it's very, very fascinating to see how many different things you can do with these relatively simple pieces a lot of the time, especially if you're covering stuff from the olden days, as we'll call it, like the 90s or the 80s or even the early 2000s.
It's like when I was born.
Yeah.
Or when you were born.
Yeah, around that time. So not necessarily your favorite cover, but what is your favorite arrangement that you've done, if you could choose one? Big question.
Yeah. See, so I'll give you like 2. In terms of like, nobody's ever gonna do that. Or let me rephrase that. No one's done that before, and I'm so freaking proud that I did it. My Field of Hopes and Dreams from Deltarune cover. I incorporated almost 80 to 90% of that with non-guitar, non-rock influence. Instead, opting for Bollywood influence, Indian music, Indian instruments, even more like cinematic kind of vibes, and just, you know, singing guitar in there because I have to. But in terms of like, otherwise, I think I'm really proud of my cover of Jaco's theme from Killer Instinct or Dearly Beloved from Hearts. Both of them have a lot of like original riff writing, things that weren't at all in the original that I'm really excited to play every time I get to play it on stage or on Twitch, of course. Like, I think when you arrange songs that are very unique, it's practically songwriting, and you just feel like really cocky, confident, excited when you're like, "Hey, I wrote this riff. Someone's humming something that I came up with 100%."
Yeah.
So with covers, that's a little harder.
Yeah.
I would say those three, which is cheating, I know, but
I mean, you specified one of them, but yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And you were also saying earlier you had a couple of musical inspirations that you pull from when trying to write a unique arrangement. Like I heard Pink Floyd. Can you give us like sort of a definitive list of like in your mind when you're like, I want to do something different with this cover? Who are like the first bands or musicians that you go to for inspiration?
so this one's usually become like, because we all listen to a lot of music, new music every day, so constantly changes. But for progressive rock and metal, I usually kind of channel my love of bands like Dream Theater, Rush, and the classic kind of prog bands that have just like the right amount of like soloing and kind of creative influences, but still have that core. I'm a huge '80s fan, so a lot of my like guitar playing and runs and licks, all my like bag of tricks are coming from the Steve Vais of the world, Joe Satriani, Eddie Van Halen, is still my #1 favorite. So you have a lot of those, but there's like all these unexpected influences that usually come into play too, like I've had a lot of musical influence. I grew up listening to Grease and Saturday Night Fever and all these like not expected but somehow work. I'm a huge Hamilton fan. I've been listening to this and that. So I think there's something unexpected there, and '90s pop. I'm a huge fan for all that, just for the nostalgia again. And so I mean, like what's great is that the more weird influences I get, the more inspired I am to collaborate with people who don't do the progressive metal world. So country, jazz, blues, classical. I like to think of it like the more music I learn, no one can say no to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone has to collab with me. Because when I was in high school, I was not in a band. Everyone thought it was uncool to be in like a shred '80s band or what have you. It was all about the country or the indie or what have you. So, but yeah, I mean, modern metal, the people who are making music today are equally just as influential. Other BGMers, Pliny, C2IA, Periphery, Animals as Leaders, Contortionist, and what's beautiful is the list goes on, right? Because every day someone else is coming out with something crazy, doing some new guitar trick or some production trick, or there's some new singer who came up with something catchy. So it really keeps you on your toes. It's hard to keep that influence list only like a few people, but that's kind of what makes prog.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do a lot of prog, but you have said that you've covered other stuff. I know you've done other genres of music, and you just listed a whole bunch of musicians and bands that come from different genre backgrounds. So do you have a particular genre that you love to cover songs in over others?
I mean, the bottom line of it is something about metal has stuck for. When did Guitar Hero 3? 2007. Sure. So I think pretty much metal has been in my life since Guitar Hero 3. That one fateful day, I think I got to Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, and something about it, like it's like falling in love. You don't even realize you love it yet. You're just like, I want to play that song again. I want to play that song again. And then by the end of it, it's like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with Iron Maiden. And then I take to the YouTube, which at that time was like so fresh. And I was just like, what is this band? What is this band? And you start listening to albums. I discovered I had like their entire discography on my dad's iPod. But yeah, I think it has so much energy and emotional bandwidth, if you will. You can have sad songs, angry songs, happy songs, historical things. I feel like in the pop world, we don't get all of these kinds of music, but in metal, I found some sort of like indescribable awesomeness about. There's music about Celtic things, Egyptian things, and it's a place for misfits, and it's a place for people to just let out all of their emotion and fun. So I mean, metal has always stood out, but I grew up on classic rock. That's definitely my crux when it comes to solos, when it comes to songwriting, when it comes to like, man, I need like the feel good music, and I'm putting on the Eagles or something.
Yeah, sure. Would you say that your favorite style or favorite genre to cover music in is the same as your favorite genre of music to listen to?
Ooh. I would say that I'm very often covering music in metal, despite that not being the only kind of music I enjoy. Um, Mostly because branding consistency,
Yeah.
boring business explanation, but I feel kind of special. The way I do metal is different enough and fun enough to where I'm like, you know what, this feels like me. But that being said, and as you know, like I don't limit myself to just any kind of strict metal kind of covers, because I think there's something even more confusingly abstract going on with my note choice when I'm playing. So if I write a jazz song, I want to make sure like someone can listen to it, like, yeah, that's Ro. And then I write a metal song, and they're like, yeah, that's also him. So that's the goal anyway. I don't know if I'm there, but
Yeah, it's cool to have a lot of variety. And a lot of uh, the thing that contributes to your variety is the fact that you can play a handful of different instruments and you can also sing as well. So,
I've never
including.
heard anyone say that.
What?
I can sing in the same sentence,
Really?
but
Really? You've never heard?
yeah,
I've heard your singing voice. I think it's very unique and I enjoy it quite a bit.
thanks.
So, am I the only person to compliment you on your singing?
No, it's just not my primary instrument, so I'm still quite flustered when it comes to like thinking about it. It's more just like I do it. I'm not embarrassed by it too bad.
Okay.
It goes on the internet.
Well,
Sorry, you were saying.
yeah. So how many? Yeah, if we're not including your voice as an instrument, how many instruments can you play like competently?
Okay. So I'll count guitar.
All
So
right.
I think I can play that.
Very good.
Um, we'll go ahead and include acoustic or classical for there.
Okay.
Bass, I consider that separate because
Yeah,
separate approach.
I would too.
Um, I can play piano pretty well. I think I can pull that one out. I'm okay at ocarinas. That's taken a while. I'm gonna give myself sitar and the tablas because
Mm,
if they get used on a cover, I'll give it that. Let's count the automaton because I have
sure.
one and it's made on a cover. Um, Recorder.
All right. All right.
I got like what is that? Marimba? I think that's made
Okay.
onto a cover. Uh, I'm looking basically in my like corner of Ro doesn't use me enough. Um, okay, I think that should be it. I can't play drums to save my life. I used to play trumpet competently,
Okay.
so I'm giving myself that. Um, yeah, this is a tricky one. Yeah, let's just give me 10.
10. All right. It's definitely more than me.
Well, you never know. It's better to be good at one instrument than okay at a lot in some contexts. So
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, no, that's very fascinating that you have all these different musical instruments at your disposal that you can use to manipulate your sounds. Very, very cool.
thanks. I'm fortunate that things worked out the way they did, of course, because a lot of me owning a bunch of instruments, thanks to the luck of YouTube and the luck of the right people finding me at the right time and helping me grow and all that. But it's it's fun switching things up.
Definitely. So obviously, you've had to learn how to play all these instruments to call yourself competent at them. So, what has your music education been like? Did you go to college? And if you did go to college, did you study music in college? And what was your What kind of lessons did you take up to there? Did you learn music in high school? What's all that about?
So I don't know about Josiah, but I might be the most disappointing guest here. I have taken private lessons for piano as a kid, and then one class in high school, and that was it.
Mm.
Guitar, I took private lessons from someone very informal, But he was Clint. He's the most fantastic person I could have gotten for a teacher. He's the reason why I play the way I do, for sure. So I took 4 years of lessons on guitar. He introduced to me music. He taught me Rush, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Van Halen. We went through your who's who of classics and even new music to get me competent. That was it. And I played trumpet middle school for 1 year. Everything else has been self-taught, but more accurately has been taught by friends like Carlos, who, this is music theory, blah 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 blah. Or I Google some videos or someone shares, or my friend David Russell. Here's a tip for how to do things competently. Or, another Julia Henderson, who pretty much taught me how to properly do a lot of vocal things. Or Jonathan Young, who also provided a little bit of feedback way back when. Kind of gives me places to start from, but I'm very informal and I'm very lacking in musical formal education. I went to college for computer science, though. A Bachelor of Science.
Nice.
Not that anyone on YouTube cares, but I do the programming thing.
That's pretty cool. Does your okay? This is a big question for me personally in my life, because I'm in college right now. I'm doing a music minor in college, but I am actually getting a major, or planning to get a major in theater. So those are two things that, I guess could cross over a little bit more than computer science and music, but obviously they're completely different. So I'm wondering, you having a computer science degree, does that help you in your day-to-day life with music at all? And do you feel like you would need any kind of music degree to be successful in the music industry at all? Is that even like...
All right, in the interview, you need to post something that says Ro's opinions are okay. Don't get mad at him.
Yeah,
so
don't
honestly,
be mad.
I can't speak to the perspective you or any of the hardworking people in any of the soft world or soft sciences or arts world can say, but the computer science degree, from everything I know, is one of the hardest degrees you could possibly have.
Yeah, definitely.
So from getting that degree while doing weekly or bi-weekly videos was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. Yet I think it was responsible for all of my friendships and happiness. Besides, college is fun. You get to pay a lot of money, but I think computer science is all about language and mentality, and it's exciting because we're gamers. We're obsessed with these things. I got to learn a little bit about game design and understand things from that perspective. And altogether, I think it just gets my brain wrapped around how to use a computer really, really well and understand software really well. So in that respect, I totally think it helped music. I know how DAWs work and scripts work and all that. I know how the internet and YouTube works and video editing. It all kind of bleeds a little bit. But from every person I've spoken to so far, I don't think a music degree is necessary or beneficial if your specific goal is, say, like performance degree. Just from a money perspective, because you're investing some time.
Yeah.
But people obviously meet fantastic friends there. They take classes in sometimes very interesting things. And not all of it is going to be available on YouTube for free. But again, my opinion doesn't really count too much because I haven't studied music at capacity. But if you want to get to whatever point in my YouTube career, your best advice should be practice the hell out of your instrument and make a ton of very good friends with, who can do stuff you can't, so you can beg them to collab with you until, you know what you're doing. And, for guitar especially, I don't know anyone who went to school for guitar and then achieved their dreams. I know people who went to school for guitar and worked really hard on their YouTube channel side and achieved their dreams. So the world is becoming all about your portfolio.
Yeah, which I think in some cases is a little unfortunate. I do think it is good to have a good resume of musical experience should you want to go into that. But I feel like it's also a little bittersweet because sometimes you overlook or I mean, I don't know because it's not like I'm hiring musicians, but I feel like people who are hiring musicians may overlook incredibly talented people because they haven't had a lot of experience in the industry. You know what I mean?
Right. I think everyone feels that way because anyone hiring anybody, say you get like 500 people applying to do something, they got to skim off by looking for, okay, what do they have? Do they have this minimum required 3 to 5 years experience or degree or whatever?
Mm.
I don't know too much about how that works in music because, again, I've been fortunate enough to work with either indie composers, different projects, and I have zero like formalities degrees. So all I can really tell people is like, I can't tell you quantitative stuff, but here's my channel. I hope you like how I play things and what I play. And then if you don't, pick someone else. And then if you do, it works out great because then I can add that to the list, or you can add that to your list. And so,
yeah, definitely. So you have been pretty darn successful here on YouTube, making your covers, making some money with those covers. So, interesting question. How do your parents feel about that? Are your parents also musicians?
Oh
and have they been supportive of you being a musician since you decided that you wanted to do that? And maybe they were like, when you said, I want to do music, but on YouTube, they were like concerned? Like, what's that relationship like?
Oh my god, this is like the ultimate best question ever. No one's asked this. So to start, my parents both enjoy music, and my dad plays harmonica. He's the reason why I know so much about classic rock. He grew up obviously in India, doing an engineering degree, and they didn't have like music players very often because it's kind of like a luxury there. So he would listen to like ABBA and AC/DC and Pink Floyd and all these like music coming from England, and he brought that into me. But at the same time, there is kind of a cultural stigma, so to speak, for Indians, where education's number one, and supporting yourself. So naturally, having a good job in not music would be priority first. And it did take a lot of kind of like, oh, what is this? Oh, that's cool. Because my dad loves, he had the camcorder growing up, and that's where I got my like love of doing the video stuff. And slowly, it's just like, don't invest too much time. You're wasting a lot of time with that. Every parent probably goes with this for whatever whatever your kid's doing. So it wasn't a ton of support per se.
Okay.
I know a lot of people were fortunate and had like their parents, helping them out buying stuff or this and that. And I mean, I think he got me my first guitar, helped with the second, third one, I think, tops. And from there, it was all up to me. So, it wasn't a legitimate looking thing. And I'm actually glad you asked this because I know there's going to be some Indian kid out there who's 13 and wondering if he should do this model. And that's my new target demographic. Eventually, once I started putting in the real quality and the effort, like knocking it out, I think it was even more apparent. I mean, my dad loves listening to me play and watching my videos to an embarrassing level now. But once I started just like really getting quote unquote professional about it while managing my grades and getting a job. Now, I mean, I work 40 hours a week and I do a video every week. I don't know too many people doing that. So it's a little point of pride for me, and I think it's definitely a huge point of pride for my parents now. And my grandma, she's in India. My mom showed her my Field of Hopes and Dreams because it was using sitar, and she was like incredibly proud of that. So it's kind of like breaking through some weird made-up barrier.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. So you do work a day job, right? Is that correct? Or are you full-time on YouTube? Okay.
No.
No.
If I was full-time on YouTube, I would be living in something like that closet, maybe.
Nice.
Okay, maybe if I pick a state that I'm not going to name, I could probably do okay, but that's not something I'm particularly interested in. Just from a lifestyle point of view, and like from a long-term point of view, I absolutely love software engineering and management. So if I can marry those two together, you know, work at, you know, a Spotify or a music distributor or something. Best of both worlds.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is something you feel comfortable answering on the air, but do you like your job?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't particularly love my job in the sense that I don't think anyone likes their first job out of college. I don't love IT, which is what I kind of do, but I love the fact that at the end of the month, we all get together and we get paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a lot of fun working with people, developing stuff. I'll be a little broad here. I won't say what company or whatever, but I work in like utilities, so we're always making sure people have, you know, necessities like electricity and stuff, and you know it requires a lot of passion for people. You know, during the storms, I'm from North Carolina, so we had hurricanes everywhere, snowstorms everywhere. So I think it's really enjoyable, and in a way, it contrasts the rest of my time, which is usually spent either cooking or making YouTube crap. So it's pretty much like a good foil to that. And, you know, again, it obviously allows me to live.
Yeah.
So the reality is that's a humongous benefit. So end of the day, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, seems pretty cool. And you were mentioning earlier that doing this music stuff and deciding to get on YouTube and commit yourself to that, you've made some fantastic friends and you've made some fantastic collaborations with those friends as well. So my next question to you is, if you can choose one, what is your favorite collab that you've ever done on your YouTube channel or on somebody else's YouTube channel?
Oh my god. Okay. Well, to start, I have a playlist on my channel of every collaboration or guest solo that I participate in, which I'm totally not checking right now. Too many.
Yeah, you've been in a lot.
If I can cheat,
go ahead.
I'll go ahead and say that from just like pure performance and how well it worked out, I collaborated with Little V Mills on Take Me On Country Roads recently.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw both of them.
The ill-fated Fallout 76 feature Country Roads. But it was just one of those ideas where I was just like, I wonder if people will like this as much as I like it in my head. So I did the acoustic side and sang the main leads with Little V supporting. And then we did a metal version on his channel that I thought would be more fitting, where I just did a lot of lead guitar solos while he just rocked out and sang. It was a lot of fun, and I think it was speaking a lot to the simplicity of ideas and how well doing two-person collaborations worked out. I think some of my favorite memories was I visited Jonathan Parecki. I'm not sure if you know him.
Oh, I am very familiar with the Parekster, yeah.
Yeah, so he and I, he's my first and oldest YouTube friend, virtually every definition. We've been friends for, 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
We met in like a vocal stream, if you can believe it.
Oh, nice.
Which was pre-Twitch. And basically, I went over last Thanksgiving to visit him, and within my 4 days of visit Thanksgiving, we made 3 covers.
Wow.
We did Santa Claus is Coming to Town in a bit of an anime opening style. We did Mission Street from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and we did Shokugeki no Soma Food Wars. We did the third opening, and it wasn't about the music at all. Collaborations as songs aren't necessarily our best works, respectively, but just the fact that I was in person for the very first time, making a ton of collaborations with, one of my best friends, and we just knew what we wanted from each other. And the funniest part about that is, Reki, he goes to bed at a different hour than me. He will be asleep at 8 a.m. and I'll wake up. I'll eat breakfast with his parents, and I'll go upstairs. I'll open up the dawn, start tracking stuff, and then he'll wake up at 4 p.m. and I'll be like, "Hey, dude, your parts are done here." And he would leave me these cute little like sticky notes, like, "Bro, I did this, track bass,
nice,
charge camera," and we just gunned it. And at the same time, we had like a blast in New York and stuff. So I think that kind of collaboration memory just sticks out.
Very, awesome. That's great.
I'll just list, I love collaborating with people who I know super well on that personal level,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the number one thing I've gotten out of YouTube is meeting fantastic people who are passionate about this and goofy people. But I've enjoyed all my collaborations with David Russell and Carlos as well. I think both of those guys know exactly how to work with me, vice versa. You know, they know your temperament, your personality, and what you'll like out of a collab, and vice versa. So, you know, there'll be days where David Russell will message me and say, "Can you get me something on guitar in like 1 hour?" Vice versa. And the dude will do it. He's easily one of the best improvisers I've ever met. So, long answer, but
yeah, very. That's just so cool to me, man. So something, I mean, we've been talking a lot about sort of music and the music industry here on YouTube in general, but we have to remember that we are labeled as video game musicians. So let's talk a little bit about some video games. So can you tell me, 2018, last year, what was your favorite video game that came out in 2018?
Oh my gosh. When did... No, 2018 video games. I will say... 2017 was so good, it made it really hard for me to enjoy 2018 at the same time.
Okay, I got you.
The games I actually played that were released, when did Smash Bros. Come out?
Smash Bros. Came out December 7th, I think.
Okay, I would say the Spider-Man game, I think, was actually my favorite one.
Spider-Man.
Marvel Spider-Man from PS4. I've somehow found myself becoming a huge Marvel fan in the last, like, 10 years.
Sure.
Plus. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just really relaxing to play. You know, just an hour a night is all I really get for gaming usually. So I enjoyed that. In terms of games I didn't play, but, you know, because I'm a musician, Celeste just knocked it out of the park in terms of, you know, composition, instrumentation. It is still, I think, on Bandcamp you can find the soundtrack top of the charts, remixes top of the charts. It just like touched everybody deservingly. So 2018 was pretty much, it's the top of the mountain.
Yeah, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
So is there any particular video game soundtrack that you always find yourself returning to listen to, or to cover music from?
So in terms of just like casual, I've been a little bad with game music and even covers. I haven't listened to that much game music casually as much as I'd like to. I absolutely love the Persona 5 soundtrack, and I just got a PlayStation 4 recently, so I am only 90 hours into the game. And the list of song ideas has blown up. I've covered it 3 times before I even bought the game. Yeah, so I think that's definitely in recency. In terms of like how many times I've covered the same game, Ocarina of Time must have like...
Yeah, you've done a lot. You've done a lot.
I think 9 songs on the temple, and unreleased there has to be about 5 to 6, because I planned on making the temple 4 years.
Wow.
And I was sitting on it because I remember I was sitting in my dorm and I was like, one day, and I said it in this like Naruto-esque kind of tone, one day I'm going to be Hokage, going to make money, and I'm going to buy an Axe FX, I'm going to get all the right plugins, I'm going to be really good at mixing, and then I'm going to do it. But instead I just got the gear and I made the temples, and but there's a lot of extra drafts. So Zelda is just, it's stupid how much I love that series without even playing it every livelong day. I always go back to it. There's something simple enough to love, but complex and whimsical and different enough to dive in. You know, Twilight Princess, things were very gloomy and mysterious, and with Breath of the Wild, they're almost like fantastical and wild.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's usually the series, but I don't know. I've tried my best to diversify a little bit in terms of series. I've also done a ton of Banjo-Tooie. Basically, any of the series I made an album out of are usually the ones where I have a ton of covers of them. But you know, everyone's got like their special thing, and then next thing you know, you find a new series, and then you have to go after that.
Yeah. In tandem with video games being something that you enjoy, we all know that you also like to cook. So, would you consider yourself an expert at cooking?
Oh God, no. Compared to my 25-ish year, I think I'm doing pretty well. But it's hard to say because I know a lot of friends who wow me with cooking as well.
Mm.
Another friend of mine, Dark Ages,
Oh yeah.
he's also a baker, and like it was funny. We're both in IT. We both bake, and I like didn't get a chance to talk to him until conference last year. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure a good chunk of conversation was just cooking and our favorite things to do. And I followed Basunify's wife. She does a lot of cooking streams and stuff. So
Nice.
there's a lot of cooks in GM. But I'll get cocky and say I know for a good amount of food.
That's
Not Ramsey level.
Yeah, I don't think many people are. All right, I got a quick challenge for you. For any people who are musicians watching this who might be like, you know what, I want to try and cook something. Can you explain, without like showing anything, just explain a simple meal that they might want to try and explain to them how to make it?
Okay. So if you are not a vegetarian or vegan, chicken wings are insanely easy. You take out any frozen chicken wings. I buy the ones dried, farm safe. You know, you can see the names of the chickens on the back. They were raised, whatever. Cover my butt there. So take them out, pat them dry, throw them in a bowl. Add salt, pepper, baking powder, paprika, and any sort of spices you'd like. Give it a tossy toss. Preheat to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Lay them out on a rack. Once they're all good and coated, place them inside for 20 minutes. Then flip on the other side. And then after you take them out for the last time, you can throw them in your favorite sauce. And then on the side, just take a can of corn, black beans, chop up like a jalapeno, drain those two, just put them in a, you know, any sort of pot, heat it lightly, mix them up together, season, and serve. That would be a perfect like Super Bowl. If you are a vegetarian, just replace all the things I said about chicken with cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. This man
all bases.
This man knows how to cook. This man knows what he's doing.
Oh man.
So we're about to move on to the lightning round that we have in this show. But before that, I have one question, which is, what content should people be expecting from your channel in these coming months?
Okay. So in the coming months, I think you're gonna expect a Pokemon metal album. Gonna be a lot of like quick in your faces, a few remakes, some really crazy 8-string Gentoo. But I want to make this one fun. I don't want to make it some proggy like epic. You're gonna see videos every week. A lot of collaborations, including some musicals. I have planned Phantom of the Opera.
Nice.
Some Disney and stuff. You're gonna see a lot of my group stuff. Aimlark has a new album coming out very soon. Participating in Materialot. I'm collaborating with some really, really cool musicians. And impromptu this week, you should see a Sweet Victory cover come out
Hey.
by the time this airs.
Yeah, I don't know when this is coming out. This is probably not going to come out for about another week from when we're recording it, I'd assume, but
that's fine then. A few months.
Yeah, look for it.
Makes sense.
Look for that Sweet Victory cover. Yeah, I mean the halftime show, man. They debated us.
It wasn't gonna happen, but the tease is what made people upset.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do it. It's that they
were
this close.
So close. All right, so we have a lightning round coming up. The way this works is I'm going to ask you a bunch of sort of some serious, some goofy questions, and I want you to answer them as quickly and sincerely as you possibly can. It's okay if you take a lot of time to answer them, but the goal is to do fast. All right, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's start. What is your favorite Indian food?
Tandoori chicken.
Okay, what is an instrument that you want to learn how to play?
Drums.
What is an animal that you want to have as a pet but know that you can't have as a pet?
Chimpanzee.
What is your favorite color?
Red.
All right. Name someone whose skill you envy.
David Russell, Carlosini,
Uh,
Jack Fleegler.
hey.
I'm a very low self-esteem boy.
What is your favorite kind of weather? Describe your perfect weather.
Sunny, but not hot enough to where I can't go out without sweating.
All right. What is your favorite McDonald's menu item?
Quarter pounder with a large fries and a soda that doesn't have any sugar.
All right. What is your favorite video game character?
Link. I was trying to say Ness and Link at the same time. Link.
Okay, Link. What's a video game song that you think every video game musician should try to cover?
Dearly Beloved.
All right. Are you in a relationship or are you single?
Single, ready to not mingle.
Hey. What is your go-to multiplayer game right now? I lost you for a second. Say that again. I lost you. Overwatch. Okay.
I haven't played a video game with them in a while.
Yeah. Okay. What is the name of the person you last shared a meme with?
A meme with?
Mm-hmm.
Crap! I'm not memeing enough.
No.
This is terrible.
You're a disgrace.
I must have sent a Chungus or something.
Yeah, right?
Crap. No. I have the answer. Here, let's just say Carlos.
Okay.
Send him a meme right now.
Probably Carlos. Oh, there you go. Send him a meme right now during the interview.
That way he knows.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did.
All right. Should we continue the lightning round while you're sending the meme?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite album?
Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Easy answer.
Who is your favorite guitarist?
Eddie Van Halen.
Okay. What is a song from a band that you want to cover but haven't yet?
New Kid in Town by the Eagles or Foo Fighters' Happy Ever After.
Okay. And
because there's drafts.
The final lightning round question, what is your favorite VST that you use all the time?
Fat Filter Pro Q.
Hey, there you go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to some fan questions here. I'm going to go on and head over to your Twitter, and I think we have 8 or 9 fan questions, so we're going to try and get through all of them. Let me go ahead.
I had like 2 posts or something.
Yeah, I'll look through them.
Sorry.
Okay, our first question is from Blue Star Mako. They ask, what kind of future projects are you wanting to create, and what are you most excited about?
I'm really excited for my Pokemon album right now, but I have a further dream by the end of this year. I'd love to do an Indian EP.
Ooh.
And it would be all of my covers I've already done, like Jago's theme, some Dreams, Yoshi Curry, but also things like the Game of Thrones theme would be cool, and just like a couple, and just release it as like one. I have a title, I won't share it yet for hype's sake, but
okay.
An Indian rock album with a ton of video games redone in classical and modern Indian styles.
Yeah, I would listen to the hell out of that, man. That sounds great.
I mean, it would be so fun, and it would be dancing. That would be the requirement. We play it out of Bhangra.
Absolutely. All right, then we have Dacian Grata asks, why Prague?
Prague is open, accepting, and surprises at every turn. And I think all of my music, I hope, will encompass that.
Yeah. We have Beige on Beige, who is more famously known as Stephen Morris, asks, I want to know how far you plan on taking those Indian instruments you've procured over the years. There's so much great potential, and there you go. I think you just answered that question.
There by 1 or 2 other instruments, percussion mostly, but
yeah.
I think I have everything I need.
We have McPherson Sound asks favorite reverb plugin. What is your favorite reverb plugin?
My favorite reverb plugin. I think within Reaper, the compressor is so useful. And a lot of people don't know how to use compressors yet, but it is the best friend of controlling all your volume. Via comp.
Hey, there you go. We have Legend FK, our boy, asks, if Dobello told you they give you free customs for life on the condition you make them a delicious meal that they deem worthy, what would you cook them?
Oh man, if I had to send Ash from Del Bello a meal to impress him, I think I would do like Thai shrimp curry, which is really awesome. It's got like coconut milk base. You get some shrimp in there, green onions. You just got a stew going. Serve it on white rice or brown rice, and then I would get free guitars for life.
Hell yeah!
Because there are so many cool people working with the company that I'm a featured artist, Del Bello Guitars. They're fantastic, and they'll work with so many people who play gigantic circles around me. I would not hog their guitars.
Yes.
Maybe a couple. Maybe like.
So we have Charles A.R. Music, Charles Ritz, asks,
Charlie,
what's your favorite cheese?
I might blank on this. Smoked Gouda.
Smoked.
I think it goes well with burgers, mac and cheese. It's damn Gouda.
All right. DRH's Psycho Cafe asks, if you could only use one guitar to record / play forever, what would it be?
It would be...
Oh, he's grabbing it. He's grabbing the axe.
It would be...
Ah, yes.
Probably my Del Bello or my Strat, because both of these are absurdly versatile. But if I bring the 7-string, I can gent.
Cool, cool. All right, let me keep going here. We have Christian R. VGM, our boy Christian, asks, if you could be a support artist for any band's tour, what band would you choose?
Ooh. I think I would fit best with Metallica because I have an encyclopedic, incredibly weird memorization of most all of their. But in terms of like the personalities, I would join any like BGM style band, and I would have a blast because there's nothing cooler than playing with friends.
Yeah.
Stranger.
We have the legendary banjo guy Ollie.
Ollie.
And he asks, long-term musical career plan, would you rather be in a successful band or be a successful music YouTuber?
Ooh. I honestly think I would enjoy YouTube more successfully because I would be able to merge making fun videos and I wouldn't just have to do music or just metal music. I could collaborate whenever I want. With a band, I feel like you're just a little bit confined to the writing style, the performance style, tourings, and all that. But that being said, that's a really tough question. So
we have Kane White, who asks, who's your Smash Bros main?
I'm usually a go-to Ness, but as of the new Smash Bros, I'm liking Incineroar.
Yeah, Incineroar. A lot of people are liking Incineroar. He just got a buff in the last update, actually. No, buffs are good, though. Buffs are good.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about competitive.
No, it's fine.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So you might have accidentally heard me say nerf, but no, he's getting buffed. Yeah, he's
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger, or famously as I've heard, Big the Cat.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. All right, we have It's Danny Music asking, what are some non-BGM artists / bands that inspire you? I think you answered this a bit earlier.
Yes, everything from musicals, a lot of like funk and jazz fusion that I'm kind of getting into a little bit. But yeah, the classics, you know, Michael Jackson, Red Hot Chili Pepper, all the non-metal stuff. You know, it's anything and everything.
Yeah. We have Dragonite Spam, who asks a very interesting question. Why is there a D in fridge but not in refrigerator?
Because I think the word fridge was invented first before refrigerator. I think that's the fun fact. Someone look that up and tell me if I'm right.
Yeah, guys, please let us know in the comments below if that's the reason.
That's actually why it is. Because if it is, then that means I've been on Reddit too long.
Yeah. The number one dad in the world, Ryan Laffert.
Yay, Ryan.
Asks you, it's 2019, and you suddenly lose all of your music gear, including all your plugins, your software, but not your computer. You have a $500 budget. What do you get as a new setup? Ooh, that's a really hard question.
It's a fantastic question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
I think someone like Ryan would appreciate my answer that I would look locally, Craigslist, for a $200 budget Fender Strat, because I feel like that would be my most comfortable instrument to go off of. So we'll be down to, let's say, $300. I would buy Modern and Massive by Get Good Drums. It's a fantastically inexpensive and quicker solution for drum programming. So I'd have those two at my disposal. I think I could get away with a bass for like $60 used, hopefully, or burglary tools for $60. No, but so I would definitely chip those down. So we're down to like 360. That's $140 left.
Yeah.
And then I would buy the cheapest. I guess if this is for music only, then I would buy with the last remaining bucks. At Solo.
Sure.
Like $80 on eBay, my interface. And since my computer's intact, I just use all their stock plugins from there.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'd be comfortable writing a lot of rocks. With the extra money, I would just like, with the extra money, I'll buy like the cheap phone available and make covers. So I can make money, and then I'll post it on YouTube, and I'll get cents every year.
Nice. Yeah, we have.
That's like guys' grocery games for musicians.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen that show?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I think I know the general gist of it.
The gist of it is you got money, gotta buy stuff.
Yeah. We actually have another answer for that question from Gruelmeister, who says $500 worth of Vaporeon plushies and giant mugs.
I'm down with that for the mugs.
Yeah.
I can get the Vaporeon plushies. I'd get a bunch more Charmanders.
And then we have one final question from the fans. It's Levi Bechtold, who asks, what was your original inspiration for getting into music production? Where did you get the idea to start making YouTube videos?
So in terms of like literally for making YouTube videos, around the time that I knew YouTube was, which is like 2006 or 7.
Around there when it was invented.
Right. It was just webcam people getting people excited by showing off their skills. It's like, I have to be a part of that. There was like some really, really, really old videos of people covering like Metallica and videos, and this is like pre everyone knew me in YouTube. I was just like this obnoxious like little kid trying to like do my thing with like my dad's Sony camcorder. I would like play Metallica music in the background and stuff. It would all be terrible quality. And I didn't have a passion for working really hard. And then, of course, like many people, I ended up seeing your family, Jules, is older musicians who, again, they were just like taking everything one little step further. Film the video separate, use whatever existed back then, Pod Farm.
Yeah, sure, Pod Farm. Wow.
It like all these throwback things, and I didn't even like put together this, and this. So slowly, as I stopped being lazy about it, I got really like into production. But the person that like inspired me the most to like get into it was probably my friend Mitchell.
Okay.
Maximum Hamburgers.
Yeah, Maximum Hamburgers.
Tetramino, because he was playing drums and recording it, and he was like the guy with like he could play guitar, he could sing and stuff. So that's when I was like, okay, this could be like a legitimate production here.
Yeah.
I started watching in college on YouTube. I'd take out my phone at the bus stop and I'd be like, all right, mixing tutorial, mixing tutorial.
Nice.
I was like ravenously trying to bite into all these videos and get super into it so I could be like people I idolize. The same goes now, especially for videography. I've been like really trying to make my music videos look different than everyone else's. Bring something new to the table so that hopefully they, stand out and feel like me. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a little trigger point and excitement.
Definitely. So there you go. Those are all of the fan questions. We're going to go ahead and wind it down with the last segment here on our show, which is my personal favorite part of the show, where every single time I have somebody come on the show, I will write them a song as thanks for coming on the show.
Okay.
So the general goal is that it's normally pretty memey, and they range from about 10 to 20 seconds, and I will write you a song about whatever you want, with any kind of genre style or technique or theme. I've gotten some pretty ridiculous, hilarious requests, so it can be absolutely anything you want, about 10, 20 seconds long. It can be a partial cover of a song. Let your imagination, use me as your vessel for creativity.
All right. I want you to make a tribute to Sriracha.
Okay.
In the style of the Bee Gees.
In the style of the Bee Gees, like the hot sauce sriracha.
Yes.
Okay, and
the shirt that I'm surprisingly not wearing.
Yeah.
Delicious Thai chili. So
Yeah, I mean, I am Vietnamese, so we're very familiar with sriracha. It is delicious, and I've seen that shirt. So, in the style of the Bee Gees, a tribute to. Okay, well, you're gonna go ahead and hear that right now.
You can tell by the way I sauce my food, I'm a tangy man in a spicy mood. Strawberries high on my chicken wings, it burns my mouth, but it tastes so great. It's alright, it's okay, you may look the other way. We can try to understand spicy food's effect on man. Whether it's a pizza or a burger or a topping, sriracha hot sauce, sriracha hot sauce. Put it in your soup, it'll make you poop. It's sriracha hot sauce, sriracha hot sauce. Hot, 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 sriracha sauce, sriracha sauce. Hot, 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 sriracha sauce.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to recording that. Now, it is time for me to reveal who will be on the show next, and you will be able to ask them one question. They ask you a question. Coming up next on the show is Christian Richardson.
Oh boy, Christian!
I'm very, very excited to interview him because we both popped up making video game covers around the same time, and have similarly sized following, so I'm very excited to talk to him. So you get to ask the first question of the next interview to Christian. What would you like it to be?
Are you old enough to be on this show? I'm kidding. My question for Christian is, when you're down and musically drained, what gets you back up? And what fuels you to keep making music?
All right, well, there you go. If Christian does watch this, he has some time to think about it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wind down the interview now. Ro, why don't you tell everyone where they can support you and where they can find your stuff?
Sure. I'm on YouTube, so that's youtube.com/c/Ro Panuganti. I'm on Spotify, so you can follow me there. I post virtually all of my covers possible there, as well as some that don't always make it to YouTube. I've got a Patreon where people can support me and get requests now, so that's same patreon.com/Ro Panuganti. And I'm on your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook deal. Just look up Ro Panuganti there. I don't post anything critical or dumb. Hopefully, maybe. No promises. And I post a lot of food on Instagram.
Hey, food. Check out that food Instagram. All right, so yeah, guys, definitely go check out Ro. He's very talented, got some kick-ass tunes. Ro, thank you so much for being on the show. I had a great time. And we will see you all next time. Well, I'll see you next time with Christian Richardson in about a month. I'll see you guys next time. All right, later.